Hey guys, this is Vesper, and I'm joined again by Chun-Li, and we're going to continue our Capcom Pro Tour overview. And this will be the fourth part, so if you guys missed out on the first three parts, I'll put a link above so you guys can check that out and catch up. And what we're doing is we're just going to go over the rest of the standings here since the DreamHack tournament just finished, right? That was last weekend. So basically the standings are established, we know who's playing, and we know basically the brackets and everything. So we're going here on the 11th person in the standing, and that is Daigo. Chun-Li, who the hell is Daigo?
Daigo, best known as the Beast. Obviously, he's probably the most well-known international fighting game player of all time.
He's got to be the most well-known fighting game player, period. Like, everyone knows who Daigo is. Or at least know his name, or at least known him from that stupid video on Third Strike where he parries Justin Wong Super. I am so sick of that video, Chun-Li. I don't want to see it ever again. It's been played to death. I'm tired of it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't care anymore.
They just finished that tournament, 37 Reloaded, where they basically that whole tournament was dedicated to that moment.
So you're saying it was a tournament based around collusion? So they had to redo it? It was a collusion tournament? Is that what you're telling me?
No. They did recreate it though, but obviously pretty forced. It was pretty forced, but yes.
Oh man. That is funny. So where's Daigo from, and when did he first play fighting games? What did he first start with? Like, who's this guy?
Oh god. So much to talk about Daigo.
I know, man.
Daigo is from Japan. In terms of him being competitive at fighting games, I don't know. He's always been really competitive at fighting games in general. Like,
he's played like everything almost, man. Like, obviously he's played Street Fighter too. Like,
Like, they made a manga based on Daigo as a kid. And, like, the details of that was like, even as a kid, he was like obsessed with SF2.
Yeah, like, oh man, there's just so much to talk about this guy. But since this is an Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournament, I guess we'll talk more about his Street Fighter 4 background. But Daigo is basically what inspired so many people to play the game. He's known so much about the game so early, like things like option selects and stuff he was doing before anyone else was, basically. Like, he was so ahead of everybody in the game. And then Vanilla Street Fighter 4, of course, he won. What was it? The first two evolutions he won?
2009 and 2010. So Vanilla and then Super.
And he was like, he was a destroyer, man. Like, he swept those tournaments hard, man. It was him and Justin in the grand finals of the first evolution with Vanilla Street Fighter 4, and that was a really, really good grand finals. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. It's definitely better than the Daigo Parry video. Like, it's a really good finals, man. With Justin using Balrog. And
then in 2010, it was grand finals. It was Ricky Ortiz versus Daigo.
Mm-hmm. And like, if in case you guys don't know, Daigo used to play Ryu. He was known as the Ryu player. He plays Ryu in Street Fighter 2. Actually, he plays Balrog in Street Fighter 2 as well, doesn't he?
Balrog in Super Turbo, and then like Alpha 2. No, not Alpha 2. Alpha 3, he uses Akuma. Mm-hmm. And then CVS 2, he had I think Ryu is also in his team, and is in CVS 2. And then he played Ken in Third Strike.
Yeah, Daigo is man. This guy just really hits, like, beyond the limits for a Street Fighter player. His footsie game is insane. His fireball zoning game is insane.
This guy, like, not necessarily defined, but this guy is, like, the absolute poster boy for footsies and zoning. Like, just the concepts of footsies and zoning. Yeah, man, he'll
play it to the end, man. This guy he's just so disciplined when he plays the game. It's like he's playing a totally different game, man. He's really fun to watch for sure. Daigo, I would say he's almost overconfident in his playstyle. He'll do crazy things like walk up to you and he'll throw you, or he's just not scared to do anything he wants. He commits to everything. If you guys haven't heard of the Ume Shoryu, that's basically when Daigo does when he gets us an uppercut, and he seems to always land it every time. He just does amazing reads. Um, he's just one of the best Street Fighter players of all time, man. Like seriously, like there's just so much to talk about Daigo. We can make an entire video about this guy and his accomplishments. Like seriously, what is there to add, man? Like,
well, it's probably the most decorated fighting game player of all time.
He wrote a book.
Wrote a book, became a bestseller on Amazon Japan. There's books and manga based on him, all sorts of things. Oh god, parodies, just nonstop. This guy is just like, that's why he's probably one of the most known fighting game player in the world.
So Daigo has won tournaments for so long that he basically considers himself like a king. Like he's got his translator to walk around with his joystick all the time. You've seen that, right, in Evo?
One of the earlier Evos, yes.
And in case you guys didn't know, like nobody was able to match against Daigo. No one was on Daigo's level. And there was a long time ago, there's this interview I'll never forget about Daigo, about what he considers. But there was always like, you know, do you consider the US on the same level as Japan? Like they used to have articles about this all the time. And Daigo made this scale, and he said that I forgot what everyone else was, but he made a scale from 1 to 10, and basically said that Justin was a 10. You said it was a 10, right? Was it a 10 or a 9? You know, it was a 10. It was a 10. Okay. He's like he considers Justin the best player in the U.S. This is during the vanilla Street Fighter 4 days, and then the interviewer was like, well, if you consider Justin a 10, then what are you, right? And Daigo's like, I'm above the scale. Like, who says that? I'm sorry, guys, but it's just ridiculous. That's how Daigo said that, man. And like I said, he considers him a king. Like we were up in the Salty Sweden Evo a few years back, and I think he was playing Arturo in a big money match. And Daigo doesn't even bring like his stick, his own joystick to his tournament, so he's always borrowing somebody else's. Either that or the translator. She goes and takes someone's sticks and hold it for them. But Daigo, he puts the stick on the. They gave Daigo a stick. He puts it on his lap and he like looks at it and he's like, "Can someone clean this for me?" They have to wipe off the stick with a cloth before Daigo can use it. Oh my god. Sorry, I had to put Daigo on blast there. With all that being said, though, his tournament track record hasn't been as amazing, though.
This year, in 2014, he kind of dropped off. I wouldn't say 2014, probably 2013. 2013 is kind of,
yeah.
Okay, you kind of saw the decline of Daigo's performance. And then he sort of slowly picked it back up, but then ever since Ultra dropped, with his character soul searching and stuff like that, it kind of dropped off again.
Yeah, I think the soul searching is when it first started. You know, Daigo he played Vanilla Ryu, and I honestly think that Capcom nerfed that character because of Daigo. Because sure, there were a lot of Ryus, but there weren't a lot of Ryus winning tournaments, and Daigo literally like defined that character, man. Like back in the vanilla days, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was the whole, you know, trade Shoryu into Ultra, and well, most importantly, it was throwing in vanilla Street Fighter 4. You can whiff or throw a fireball, and if the opponent jumps, you can literally super. They'll get hit by it, and that used to be like Daigo's main game plan, was to gain a full bar of super and just punish you with that super every single time, man. Like holy shit, that was annoying. But yeah, you know what? I noticed Daigo starting to fall a little bit when Mago switched to Fei Long.
Fei Long in Super, yes.
Yeah, man. Like Daigo, he had such a hard problem beating that character, and Mago was beating him a lot. And even this one time I think it was at Canada Cup, Daigo had to switch to Guile just to beat Mago. Yeah, man. Like. And then
chicken wings, man. Remember that? We were there. We were at the
man.
We hosted the High Rollers tournament that year, and we got to see firsthand like air throw.
Yeah, man, the air throw madness on the chicken wing. And then what happened? Then AE came out, and then that was the day of Yun. The massacre of Yun and Yang came out, and then Daigo switched to Yun, and then he went like seriously like Yun for life, man. He was like top BP in the arcade, And did he win anything with Yun?
There was some, I remember that was like the first time Topanga, like that whole Topanga group kind of formed around that. It was after the tsunami, the major tsunami in Japan, and then they had a Topanga charity tournament for that, and then it was like 3v3 teams, and pretty much every top Japanese player was at this tournament. And oh no, it wasn't a 3v3, it was a 5v5.
And that was like the birth of Kazunoko.
yeah. And then Daigo's team was comprised of Mago, Tokido, Yanshi, I can't remember, one other player, and then Daigo. And then grand finals of that tournament was against, I can't remember the entire team, but I know Shingoku Neurosis was on that team. And back then...
That's a Bison player, right?
Yeah, he was using Bison. And that was like one of the sickest Bison players in Japan. And he was on the verge of beating that team. Like I think he almost OCV'd that team. And then the final anchor was Daigo. Now this is the first time that anyone got to see Daigo's Yun.
Yeah, like seriously, when this whole like when Daigo was playing Yun, like even though he was the top BP, there was no footage of this guy playing this character. So everyone was so hyped, you know, waiting for this finally to see Daigo's Yun. How crazy it is, right?
And so like Daigo's anchor, it's this high pressure situation, grand finals. Daigo's anchor, it's like this is the first time people get to see his Yun. And it was a very close match. Like Shingoku Neurosis almost had it, and then Daigo beats him, and then he goes on to clean up, and he OCVs that entire, not necessarily OCV, but he finishes off the entire team afterwards.
Reverse OCV?
I don't know if it was a reverse OCV. I can't remember what the score was exactly.
Oh, in case you guys don't know, Topanga is just like a huge tournament in Japan, like a really big tournament. And most Japan tournaments are done in like a team format, just because there's, you know, so many people in these tournaments, right? So it was pretty huge. But yeah, man, and then Daigo went to Evo and he got massacred by Punko.
And then lost to Latif. Eliminated by Latif.
Yes, there you go. Good memory, man. And then yeah, and that was also the birth of the triple uppercut Daigo. That's when Daigo loved doing that triple uppercut stuff. I don't know what that was about. You guys watched that Daigo versus Punko match on Evo. It was a really fishy match, but Daigo relied on the Ume Shoryu a little too hard. In case you guys don't know, Yun's uppercut is pretty damn good, even on Wake Up. Like the EX version of it, even the AE version was like almost remotely safe on block. Like it was stupid.
It was harder to punish because he went so far off the screen.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
But Punko, he like, you know,
baited it.
He wolfed down that Red Bull, so it enhanced his reaction time.
Took off
it was
the belt,
basically bullet time after
Bull.
he drank that Red Bull. Yeah, man. That thing was spiked for sure. That was good though. But yeah, and then after AE, then Daigo, then Yun got nerfed to the ground.
Yeah.
To the ground. Okay. And then Daigo went soul searching again. And then what the hell happened?
He went back to Ryu. But yeah, he did a lot of soul searching. I remember at one point he like had a pocket Kami. Just for the Dulce. Yeah, he had I think in the Super Days, he had a pocket Kami for the Dulce matchup. Because the Dulce matchup was so hard for Ryu.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. Like, Daigo, when he played Ryu, he had such a problem with that Dulce matchup. Filipino champ and who else?
Was it Io? No, it was YHC Mochi. Yeah, that guy was a crazy, best Dulce player in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he... even though like he had a difficult time, he always made those matches like look like 5-5 or 6-4, like in Dawson's favor, obviously. But like he played that matchup too perfectly, like as best as he could. And every time those matches were close, but like he kept struggling. So he actually had a pocket Kami, because I remember it was a European tournament. Ryan Hart was there. And the match was Ryan Hart versus Daigo, and then they asked for a blind double pick, right? Mm. And if people don't know what a blind pick is that both players will tell a judge who they're gonna pick, and they don't know who they're gonna pick. Like the players don't know what the other player's gonna pick.
Nobody uses that shit anymore.
So they just tell the judges so that it eliminates the possibility of counter picking. So Daigo said he was gonna pick. So Daigo picked Cammy, and Reinhardt picked Ryu. And the reason he picked Cammy was because he was afraid that Reinhardt was gonna counterpick with Dhalsim. So then his Cammy lost, and he went back to Ryu, and then he lost the match again.
That's awesome, man. Now fast forward to Ultra Street Fighter 4, and this is the birth of Evil Ryu, where Evil Ryu got a ton of buffs. Basically, Daigo keeps saying, everyone keeps interviewing Daigo and saying, you know, are you going back to Ryu? Are you finally going back to Ryu? Because, you know, this was when Daigo was the most dominant, when he played Ryu. But Daigo says that Ryu is just still not good enough. Mainly because of his uppercut, I guess? I don't know.
This damage output and the whole, like, just... He has no sort of mix-up game and stuff like that. But with delayed makeup and all that stuff, he doesn't have to worry about a mix-up game as much anymore.
Yeah, like, so the only thing back to par is this crouching medium kick, right? Ryu's crouching medium kick, so...
But yeah, just basically, like, you do all this work for you, and then you don't get rewarded as much. And then with Evil Ryu, like, you play a strong footsie game, and it's that one, like, you land that one crouch forward into fireball, and then FADC, big damage. Like, the payoff is always there. And it just fits his playstyle, right?
Yeah, it's basically a compromise. Like, he wants to play Ryu, but he feels that Ryu's not good enough, so he'll use Evil Ryu. The thing is, though, that even though Daigo played Evil Ryu, he still got bopped out of pools in the latest Evo. And that was actually a huge shock for a lot of people. Just the way Daigo's been playing, it just didn't seem like... Basically, he's playing Evil Ryu, but he's playing him like Ryu. Basically.
Yeah, like he didn't fully make the transition over in time for Evo. So you could tell that he was still like trying to find his way with the character. Like he still played it like the way he played Ryu, and it didn't quite work out. And like he didn't fully transition properly. And so I think that kind of contributed to his eventual loss in Evo. But obviously, we're not going to make excuses for Daigo. I mean, he still lost it. That's on his notice to to do better, to counterpick if necessary, and stuff like that. But even Daigo acknowledges that, like, the two people that he lost to, Filipino champ and John Choi, played better than him at the time of their matches. So
yeah, and like Daigo, he plays a lot, man. Like 8 hours a day or something like that. And he's still a top on the BP rankings up in Japan. And when he played, like I said, when I predicted for the Evolution predictions, I predicted Daigo wouldn't make, I don't remember what I predicted him, but I remember him getting beat a lot earlier than a lot of people think. Because, you know, Daigo's the champ and everyone predicts him to make it super far. But he lost to, was it Velociraptor? It was Velociraptor and... No. I'm getting confused with Infiltration. Infiltration got beat Velociraptor. Daigo lost to Filipino champ and John Choi. And I made a whole other video on that too. Actually, maybe I might link that in the video too, because I did a whole thing about that, on why he lost. But I think it was after that match when Daigo realized at that point that maybe I gotta change like my playstyle. I have to play Evil Ryu, not normal Ryu, right? And I think Daigo's come a long way now. I think he's finally come like full circle, and I think he's like really like back to what he was before right now. I think he's figured out that character, and I think he's gonna do really well in this tournament.
And this kind of format for this tournament, it benefits a player like Daigo the most, because Daigo has always proven that given time, if he can know the matchups ahead of time, like to know who he's going to play against ahead of time, and he can do his research, he can be unstoppable. Like, everyone remembers how he got destroyed by Infiltration at EVO 2 years in a row, and then again at Capcom Cup, and it was really convincing wins. And then they had to do a first to 10 in an exhibition match, and Daigo just like 10-2 against Infiltration, and it's like download complete. It's like how? And then again, Zen had a consistent history of beating Daigo in the later versions of SF4, and then when he had to do an exhibition match against Zen, I think he 10-0'd him.
Yeah, it's just so with that being said, how do you think Daigo is going to do in this tournament? Does he have the potential to win?
I think he has the potential to win. I think or the majority of people will say he is the favorite to win this tournament. But it's going to be rough depending on how the brackets work out because, again, all 16 players, or at least the majority of these 16 players, are really strong players.
I personally think that he has a high chance to win. Almost very high chance to win this tournament, and I think he's come a long way. He's improved a lot ever since he started playing Evil Ryu, and even if he gets put to losers early, I don't think that affects him at all. I think that he's just, the pressure doesn't affect him, and I think even if he goes to losers, there's still a very high possibility of him winning the tournament. And like I said, Daigo has an advantage this tournament, just the inherent advantage as him as a person, because he is so good at analyzing matches and players, and I think he will definitely be one of the most prepared players in this tournament. He will know all these matches very well, and he's got like a huge team of gnomes or whatever that help him in training mode, man. Like seriously, go over everything, man. Like I remember watching Daigo like in the hotel, man, before like a tournament. He's always in training mode with some buddy going over like his next match and just checking out some quick, like, you know, things on frame data and punishing and stuff like that all the time, man. Every tournament.
Even during when he qualified, which was CPT Asia Finals, he was watching videos of all the people he had to play against on his PSP. And it was funny because the players would watch Daigo, and he's watching his their matches on his PSP, and he's like watching me play. He's downloading me already.
Are you sure he's playing PSP? You sure he wasn't playing Beatmania or something?
No, it was on his PSP.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was hilarious because everyone was just getting like, it's intimidating a little bit because you're like, oh god, the beast is downloading me.
Yeah, man. I guess we should stop talking about Daigo because we talked about him so long. Oh, one more thing I might add is next time you guys see Daigo in a tournament or something and you see him go into the bathroom, just leave him alone.
Oh god.
Just leave him alone, guys. Let the guy like go to the restroom in peace. Like every time this guy goes to the restroom, there's like 10 people following him into the bathroom. Like, Jesus, guys, come on. Hospitality here.
I guess the one thing we should mention is kind of what kind of matchups do you think you might struggle with? Oh,
yes. Matchups you'll struggle with. Well, let's assume that we don't know what the bracket is. And, well, there's Nishikin too, right?
Yeah.
So I want to mention, Nishikin is one matchup I want to mention with Daigo because Daigo used to have problems. I don't remember the Blanca player's name, I'm sorry, but he used to chase...
Mizutero.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah.
Right on, Killy. Mizutero, this Blanca player, used to terrorize Daigo back in the vanilla days.
And trolled Daigo, man. Like,
he terrorized him. He didn't troll him. He terrorized him.
Oh, he trolled him. He would wait. Like basically, Mizutero would always get on the cabinet.
Yeah, in the arcade, he would stalk Daigo in the arcade.
And then he would beat him. And then Daigo would get up and move to a different cabinet, and then Mizutero would leave his cabinet and follow Daigo.
Yeah, you fall around the arcade, and no matter what machine Daigo would play on, he would make sure that he would play Daigo on the other end, like every time, man. And he would beat Daigo every time, man. Timeouts or whatever. He played the lamest Blanca I've ever seen. The lamest. He like it was so lame, this Blanca player. And I guess Daigo had to really like up his game against the Blanca matchup because he was losing to Raisida in Canada Cup. Who he lost like one match. It wasn't like Daigo still beat him, but you saw that Daigo had some problems against Blanca. So I'm really curious on how he would do against Nishikin Blanca for sure, especially with Evil Ryu.
For sure, there's going to be some nuances to that matchup that's going to be different from his old name, but I think the other two matchups he will struggle with is Snake Eyes and possibly Luffy.
Snake Eyes and Luffy, hey. Well, Snake Eyes, well, how did Zangief do against Evil Ryu anyways?
I don't know, but I think like I've seen Daigo lose to Geef players before as Evil Ryu, and yeah, I don't know. That matchup is gonna be interesting. And
yeah, because like Akuma does well with the aggression and getting in because he's got the air fireball, right? But Evil Ryu doesn't have that, so you know what I mean? Like, I'm really interested to see that match. I don't think that match would last very long. Hey.
Well, it depends. It depends if
it's Snake Eyes though, right?
Oh god. Yeah, Snake Eyes is known for dragging those matches out to like time limits, but it really depends on like can Geef punish crouch forward fireball, because at least crouch forward fireball with Evil Ryu is a true block string, unlike regular Ryu. So that's to his benefit, but how like the frame disadvantage afterwards? Like I know it's pretty disadvantage on block. Does that give Geef enough time to just light green hand and punish for free? And if that's the case, that might change the dynamic up entirely.
Yeah. Against Luffy though, I don't know. Luffy is so high profile now that I'm sure Daigo has learned a lot about it, and I'm sure Bonchan is giving him some advice too, because Bonchan knows everything. I really hope
he preps for that Rose matchup, because the other thing is like Daigo likes to play a fireball game, but you can't really play that against Rose because of her fireball, soul reflex, soul absorb, and everything. And like that was part of why Bonchan lost in Evo Grand Finals against Luffy, was he played the fireball game and it allowed Luffy to gain all that meter of soul absorb and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see that match too, man. Like I said, man, I'm sure Bonchan has shown him everything. Like Bonchan's got a dartboard with Luffy's face on it, like 100%. So. Okay,
but anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, now at 466 points, we have KnuckleDu. Curse KnuckleDu. Killy, who the hell is KnuckleDu?
KnuckleDu is a newer fighting game player, or at least newer to SF4. He is a Guile player with Pocket the Capre.
I'm happy that we got a Guile player in this tournament. The only other known Guile player I know is Dominion, basically.
Yeah, they both used to be part of Empire Gaming, so they were both on the same team previously, and then yeah, and the two have very contrasting play styles for Guile. Like Dominion plays a very more controlled spacing, defensive Guile. Well,
so lame. He plays more lame.
Yeah, he plays more of a lame Guile. While KnuckleDu plays more of a offensive, like rush down style with Guile.
How do you rush down with Guile?
Close stand, roundhouse.
So KnuckleDu is getting ready for Omega mode. That's what you're telling me. Yes, he is. So yeah, KnuckleDu, man, I've seen some of his matches. He does really well, and yeah, he does play very aggressive, man. He does some crazy stuff like he'll do walk up close roundhouse, and then he'll do another close roundhouse reset into a combo and just do like half damage right there. So he's really fun to watch for sure. And he was recently sponsored by Curse, right?
Yes.
So Curse is more of a MOBA sponsored company. I know him mostly for like League of Legends and stuff like that. They also make a ton of websites. And that's a really big name, like sponsorship wise. Like that's like EG level sponsorship. So good for him. So how did he make it into the Pro Tour? Did he win a big tournament, or is he winning?
He qualified through points only. I'm not sure. He didn't win any tournaments that I'm aware of. But he always placed consistently well at the qualifying tournaments that he did attend.
This is going to be a huge experience for him to go to such a crazy, like, prestigious tournament. And I forgot to mention, KnuckleDu, I think he's only like 18 years old. He's a really young guy, so good for him, man, to get into the scene like this and achieve so much. So how do you think he's going to do in this tournament overall? What is his chances of winning?
It's a pretty low chance that he's going to win the tournament. I mean, he himself said that he wasn't expecting to qualify for Pro Tour. And I think him and Choo-Choo are pretty much the underdogs of this tournament.
They're definitely the biggest underdogs in the tournament, him and Choo-Choo. And but Choo-Choo is a little different because like he's an underdog because he's not well known, but I think KnuckleDu is underdog because it's a character issue.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Guile is not really a top tier character. The Capre is also not that wouldn't say she's not that bad, but she's not a particularly strong character. So right from the get-go, there were some matchup disparities here. But being the underdog is most people won't have much information on you, so you'll have a slight advantage there.
Yeah, like, I don't know, Guile's kind of like a wild card character because, like, he can either do, like, really well, like, when he gets the right, like, momentum, Guile can just dominate a match, but then there's some times where he just gets massacred. So, what kind of matches do you think KnuckleDu is going to look out for? Which matches do you think will be good here?
Snake Eyes for sure.
Oh my god. That's a timeout match for sure, man.
Yeah. I think he might actually do well against Evil Ryu. So, like, Daigo and Pure Rock, he might be able to do well with if it comes down to a zoning game.
Yeah. I don't think PR wants to play KnuckleDu.
Yeah. Luffy, maybe. I'm not sure how that matchup turns out.
Yeah, I wonder if Rose can keep up with that fireball game by Guile. But like you said, KnuckleDu plays very aggressive.
Yeah, so that might
be definitely interesting.
So that might work against them.
You think anyone's gonna prepare for that match against KnuckleDu? Against Guile?
I really don't think so. I think most people are gonna really underestimate KnuckleDu in this tournament, and that's something they shouldn't do.
Yeah, KnuckleDu, like, I really wonder how he's gonna do this tournament. But I'm very happy that there is a Guile player in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Zen would probably be a bad match for KnuckleDu.
Yeah, the jump arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it has crazy jumps, so we'd have to see how you do on that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's already Infiltration. Like, you'll never know who Infiltration's gonna pick against you. It might be Akuma, it might be one of his how many other counter
Could be a Guile mirror match.
Like, you never know. He's shown he's able to handle the Rufus matchup, so I don't think Ricky or Justin will, like, there'll be a problem, but it's not like his worst matchup in the bracket. He's proven he's beaten Justin Wong before as well, so, like, perfected him as well, so that's actually Guile versus Rufus. I think that was slightly in Guile's favor at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the vanilla days, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, outside of those few matches, like it's really tough to say. Like, he's such an underdog, but there's that surprise factor that could happen. Like, he could possibly upset somebody in the bracket.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck to KnuckleDu. I hope he does well this tournament. So that's it for today, guys. Sorry for talking about Daigo so much. That's probably like 90% of the video. But we could have talked about him a lot longer, though. So we'll move on to the last 4 guys in the standing in our next video. So take it easy, guys.